Oh, that's flat. Oh yeah, another one. Oh, it's flat again. Wait. Wait, it's the best ship in the game. Oh my goodness, look at the dispersion. Wait, it's good though. Wait, it's just great. Flat broadside, guys. Got it all over. Please. Yes! Oh, we did it. We actually did it. Wait, we actually got a dev strike on a light cruiser broadside. With these guns? There's no way. Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the super French battleship Patrie. I sounded a little surprised in some of those clips, didn't I? That this ship was doing so much damage. When these shells connect, this ship is absolutely incredible. But that's the key. When they connect, this ship does not have the most consistent dispersion in my experience. It has battleship dispersion 1.8 sigma with 12 shells, which is fine. It's solid, in fact, but not as consistent as, say, Maine with 16 guns, 1.7 sigma battleship dispersion. 0.1 sigma difference for a whole 4 more shells. Seems to be a little more consistent in my experience. However, I did get some incredible games in this ship. It's not that this ship is not powerful at all. It's just not quite as consistent as some of the others. Certainly Satsuma, F-Key. Gonna have to take a look at that one soon. These super battleships in 2026 are still absolute monsters. Apart from maybe Hanover, this poor guy, trying to get into brawling range, and he's already eaten so much damage from our ship. That superstructure is just massive. Patrie, being the super battleship version of Republique, essentially is gaining a turret over Republique for a slightly longer reload and that sigma difference as already mentioned. Ton more HP and an engine boost off of Bourgogne. Not quite the duration of Bourgogne's engine boost, but it is the 15% one, which is very useful for your maneuverability. I really like it. Patrie is a gigantic ship, and yet it feels more maneuverable than Republique does. I think it's really useful to have that. This ship, of course, has a pretty normal reload for a battleship. We don't often see that at this super ships tier. 30-second reload is not the most common. 35-second reloads on Maine and Satsuma. Devastation, 38-second reload. So a lot of times going up to this tier, you gain a lot more guns, maybe some accuracy gimmicks, that kind of thing. A ton more HP, but you lose out on reload. And certainly we still are losing out on reload compared to Republique. But gaining 4 guns over Repub does lend itself very nicely to its consistency at closer ranges. Yeah, so we can't always play at these closer ranges, especially down to the armor layout of Patrie. 32 millimeters of armor everywhere is not very good at this tier anymore. A lot of battleships, including that Hanover, can overmatch us, so we're taking some pretty big hits. A lot of HE full pensis everywhere, including those Hanover secondaries. Fortunately, it gives us broadsides, so we get some big hits in. And we got over 2.8 million potential damage in this one. So it can play at these closer ranges. It's just quite difficult to do so. And a lot of the time, you're going to be playing at longer ranges. Fortunately, much like Repub, these shells are very, very fast. So you can have a pretty easy time leading at these longer ranges. You'll catch out cruisers and battleships thinking they can turn broadside, thinking they have time. They simply do not here. And with a dev strike and the special French commander, yeah, we get a 21-second reload on Patrie thanks to some AR as well. So you're not always going to have this reload, but a 30-second reload is notable here as most of these super battleships have a much, much longer reload than what we're used to at a normal tier 10 battleship. So if you find that a little frustrating about Maine, for example, Satsuma, Devastation, Patrie could be an interesting option for you to go for. I think it's a solid ship, just a little inconsistent at range a lot of the time. I gotta say, I played a ton of Patrie, and a lot of the time, it just was very passive long-range games, and I was getting overmatched and losing a lot of HP. That was a Citadel. That's a rare one. Okay, that was the one time that happened. But Satsuma can easily get those 20 to 30k salvos, even without these Citadels at those longer ranges. Close range, though. Yes, there we go. Finally making it work. And what is this? Secondaries running? Yes, Patrie full secondary build. I'm laughing. You should not run a full secondary build with Patrie, okay? Still, the main guns are the ones to build for on this ship. And the secondaries have a big problem. Their main DPM is from the 100mm secondaries, which only pen 17mm. Even superstructures at this tier are 19mm, so they don't pen anything. You have to run IFHE to have them pen anything, which I am doing here. I was mostly joking, and yet this turned out to be my best match by far with Patrie. Make of that with what you will. Don't recommend you run this, yet it performed the best. Perhaps that's because we got fortunate with this matchmaker to get a closer brawly style of game. So at these closer ranges, accuracy buff would still be nice for the consistency on the main guns, but we got a lot of opportunities to fire at enemies at very close range, so we didn't feel that penalty quite so much, I suppose. 12.5 kilometer range here is not an upgrade over the Repub at all. We don't get any special gimmick F key on this one for its secondaries or its main guns. I think that's probably a good thing, to be honest with you. These super ships are oftentimes just such an insane upgrade over their tier 10 counterparts. And then they also get a wild combat instruction gimmick on top of that, that they feel a little more like a 2-tier jump rather than a 1-tier jump. Patrie will feel like a normal tier jump, probably. It's still very, very good, but it's not that wild jump that we might see with, say, a Satsuma or Maine even. That F key is not as flashy. It's not giving you the insane dispersion buff like we saw, but tankiness there certainly helps a lot for that ship and allowing it to play more aggressive, which I love so much. You can check out that video. I've already put that one out. Patrie can't quite match Maine in that regard. I think I really enjoyed Patrie when it came out because it was the super battleship first with more than 8 guns. And a lot of these 8-gunned battleships, super battleships, did not have the best dispersion feeling. Satsuma F key set aside, of course. And it felt a little more consistent. Maine coming out after, it's taken over Patrie's role in my opinion, at least for my sort of playstyle. That said, it is certainly a ship without as much overmatch and as much pen at longer ranges, straight up. 20 kilometers, Patrie still gets 536 millimeters of pen, which is great. Maine is only at 487. That doesn't sound like much, but there's a lot of battleships at those longer ranges where you start to shatter a lot with Maine and some of these just normal tier 10 battleship 406s, where with these Repub 431s, it's not happening as much. Not in this game, but in the next one where we do a little more sniping and get some crazy salvos at range, you should see that as well. As for the playstyle of Patrie and how you want to initially cover it, you don't want a full send push right away. Of course, with a ship like this one, you gotta buy your time and probably look for those crossfire opportunities. While we still have that nice 30 millimeters of overmatch, which really helps against so many cruisers, it's a pretty difficult mechanic for them to deal with. We have that here. We still want those broadsides thanks to some very wide horizontal dispersion and pretty decent vertical dispersion, lending itself to shooting at broadsides a lot more. We have the speed to get there. The concealment at 14 kilometers is quite frankly pretty good. I have always thought that 14 kilometers feels like a good minimum concealment for battleships. Don't know why Wargaming's put out some battleships with way better than that over the last couple of years. Seems like you should be able to spot the guy with the Devstrike capable guns. Even 14 kilometers is very, very solid for a ship like this one and allows you to kind of sneak around the map, especially into a lot of these super ship games, which play a little bit further back. Satsuma gets a couple shells into us, still does 16,000 damage. Yeah, getting into these brawls, you really got to watch out. I'm trying to actually bait him into shooting my belt armor here. Going full bow on to any 32 millimeters of overmatch, it's going to be a bad time. But Patrie has a lot of spaced armor and some pseudo turtleback. This is kind of the French high-tier battleship gimmick. It's not turtleback quite as good as the German battleships do have that pretty much completely prevent citadels, but it still is very good. And the spaced armor lends itself to a lot of torp protection hits. I'm sure you've felt that when you're shooting at a flat broadside French battleship. Montana has a waterline citadel, and we connect. Great. You're not always going to get that if it was a French battleship, which is a unique advantage, though it does have much worse upper belt and deck armor. It's broadside Satsuma now. These ones are the surely opportunities. And note, we do not have accuracy upgrade, and yet we're still smashing. And then the secondaries can help out. Tempesta getting the kill. Very, very good play from our Tempesta here to recognize we needed to push in this late game, allowing me on no heals left, no engine boost left to come in with the flank. He took the initiative, and we can capitalize on that. Just got to call that out because our game looks pretty insane from our perspective, of course, but our teammates helped us out a lot in this one. A full brawling Patrie usually should not live past 2 million potential damage. Certainly not to collect a Kraken yet in this one. Patrie is very much not the sole tank for your team on the flank. It can do it for a bit, but it's going to die a lot quicker than something like Maine. Maybe feels a little more like a Hanover. I'm sorry, Hanover enjoyers, to just keep bashing on that ship, but it really feels like Hanover takes 1 billion damage no matter the angle and range, thanks to its superstructure. Patrie also feels a bit like that, thanks to just the general armor profile, and it does also have a pretty big superstructure. Absolutely wild game out of full secondary Patrie. Wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Let's go to a little bit more normal build on this one. Running accuracy mod, reload mod, these kinds of things. And we already have like a 25-second reload here, out to 21 kilometers. Pretty easy to lead into some of these battleships. Tempesta does have a very large citadel, but we still managed to connect with it. A lot of the time at these ranges, battleship shells start to fall off and you get a lot of shatters. 16 kilometers into a Maine, large exposed citadel, but a very thick armor belt there that we have to still get through. And that's a 73k salvo at 16.5 kilometers. We don't even need that close range Maine from the intro. Yeah, the guns here are very good when they connect, but I need to emphasize that it took me a while to get these games. I, for the most part, had a lot of frustration while playing Patrie, which felt very different from playing Maine, for example. And I'm assuming, although I haven't recorded it yet, playing Satsuma. These ships are just more consistent, and you're not always going to get these plentiful broadside opportunities. Some of these games are absolutely amazing, where we find the flank, we get the soft spot in the enemy team, they're focused on angling to my teammates on a different flank, and I get a ton of broadsides. Or in this case, a poor Zhao trying to play open water against a lot of overmatch. It's tough, man. It's tough for cruisers. There's like almost half his HP at max range there for him. This ship is very dangerous for an enemy team to deal with. It needs to play at these longer ranges, though. We could not just full send it into the enemy team if we wanted to survive for the rest of the game. So a lot of my games actually are played like this, at least to start with. We're a little bit cautious, playing at 15 to 20 kilometers for the vast majority of it. We're trying to find soft spots in the enemy's defense. So in this case, they're heading over towards the sea cap, right? So that means they're going to be angled towards that side, and oftentimes we're going to get a lot of broadsides. Not every map is going to look exactly like this, but that's the idea, is we want to find those broadsides, because that is where this ship will be shining. And at longer ranges, it's pretty easy to lead these shells, especially compared to Maine. That is a key advantage, of course, because you got to do a lot of predicting, right? 12-second lead time is pretty good, but what if it was 15 seconds? That's a lot of time for an enemy ship to maneuver and dodge your shells. And at that point, you're trying to predict how they're going to dodge. It's a lot harder to do that. Much easier if Patrie just sends the shells and gets there a lot quicker. And that is a very nice benefit to this ship. It's not my favorite super battleship by any means, but it's still a very, very good one. In this one, not running the secondaries, not brawling it out, and still getting well over 300,000 damage. It's a very, very good ship. Personally, like I said, you guys know me. If there's any inconsistency on those Shirley opportunities, perhaps I get a little irrationally frustrated by it. I very much understand we can't have perfect accuracy dispersion. Go check out the Brawl video from last week. It's a little busted when you give battleships perfect accuracy. Of course, I know that. But I can't help but getting a little bit annoyed at a ship when we get those flat broadsides and we miss. Didn't see that as much in this video because I wanted to show the strengths of this ship, but I did need to talk you through my experience, of course, while playing it. Of course, you're still a super battleship at the end of the day, so you're very strong. And unfortunately, also liable to get small games. Yes, the matchmaker still has trouble with super ships, and that's what we got to deal with for now. However, we'll take a Citadel early on. 1 is fine. For Patrie, I find 1 is fine there. I would like more, of course, but he did turn away. Fair enough. We're going to play very aggressive, overly aggressive, more than likely, in this one, just because... Ooh, Zhao going to turn away? Always looking for this, right? Enemy team here. He's pushing. He might get the idea he needs to turn away. There's also a Maine that's going broadside at 18 kilometers. How good are these guns at these ranges? Let's see. Pretty easy to lead, as already mentioned. And enough pen? Missed it, I guess. That's okay. Still a pretty good hit. Notice our Minnesota positioning here. It's a tier 9 battleship. That's tough. We're still trying to get a crossfire with them, though. That is very, very important. Stalingrad is he going to turn away or not? Feels like he should. Ooh, that is very, very good dispersion. Did I lead it right? I thought he was going to turn away, so no, I did not. These should go high. And they don't. Wait, why don't they? They should have gone high, though. Interesting. Okay. Okay, sure. We led for him to do a different dodge, and we still got rewarded for it. Feels a little random sometimes. That's okay. Maine. Angled slightly away, so we aimed a little high. And actually didn't lead enough. Rear turrets, maybe. Yeah, still 18k. Very good. We need to apply the pressure, because we're the big ship in this one, of course. Oh, and we've found the DD. That's very important. We turn in. Do I just magically get the gap? Oh. No. Okay. We don't quite magically get the gap, but it's close. It's close to a magical gap. That was great. We don't have the best torp protection, though, notably. And I will keep pushing this. This time I'm going to lead for him to go straight. He's going to straight line it. Maine is not creating much of a threat crossfire-wise. And? Oh, yeah. Okay. Unfortunate for the small game, but we are showing off again what the ship can do when we find the flank. We got to find those broadsides. And I am running a hybrid build here. So that's why the secondaries. Maybe we'll let our team plus secondaries get them. Because this Zhao is going broadside. Interesting decision, sir. Very interesting decision. Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, we're a super battleship, man. And this is a small game, so there's not the volume of fire to focus us down if we do play aggressive like this. So, yeah, what do you expect is going to happen? We push and we just nuke everything. I may enjoy a Maine more. I may enjoy a Satsuma F key more, but it's a super battleship, guys. These are all very, very, very good ships. Oh, we didn't get 1 billion damage that salvo? How frustrating. I'm joking. I am joking. Of course I'm joking. This is a crazy game, especially for such a small one. It is unfortunate, though, that we do have this so often when it comes to playing super ships. These small queues. I think it's because if a super ship or any ship stays in the matchmaker queue for 5 minutes, a game is dumped. I actually got insta-dropped into this one, unfortunately. Oh, we could be mean. We could be mean. We can be mean. Wait, what if we yoink kills? We'll get the secondaries on the main. I mean, secure. A well-deserved kill. That's what I meant. Surely. Surely that's what I meant. Main is on us. Let's turn in. Trying to avoid it. A little bit. All right, last shot into the Marco. And then we got to go focus up on Maine here. Because he's very broadside. Engine boost is up. Can we get a big hit in, please? No, it still shatters. Too bad. Oh, turn the guns. Look at how broadside he is. Turn the guns. Look at how broadside he is. 40k. Oh, not quite. Only 30. Still very good. Very good. Very good. Okay, no Kraken in the small game for us, but that's a quick little 223. Not a normal game. I would like to show you a normal game, though. All right, we found ourselves in a bit more reasonable match in this one. We got ourselves pretty decent split. Battleship, cruiser, and destroyer slash sub would prefer DDs over those submarines. So I have to watch out for that. Now, a lot of people like to, with this Annapolis, go towards this island. I'm looking for my Hanover. Notice my Hanover is going over to this side. If I go out here, that's a crossfire, right? That's what we want to deal with these enemy ships with. Annapolis is a pretty scary ship, but we're in a super battleship, right? He's pushing in, and he's going to struggle to the both of us. Now, as for the spawns, a little odd that we... hold on. A little odd that we spawned both of our super battleships over here, I will say that. But it is what it is, right? And Valparaiso is leaving this flank, so Annapolis. Hybrid build, secondaries, go get them. And we overmatch, is the thing. So we're going to watch out for that. Aim up. I can't hit his bow section, which is where I would want to aim for citadels. Poor guy. Got submarined, unfortunately. I am going to use my engine boost. We want that maneuverability buff. Kitakazi here as well. Very interesting. I'll put the secondaries on him. I do think we finish off this Annapolis with our main guns. So Hanover applying pressure on the other side basically meant that this Annapolis got into some trouble completely for free. And we take him out. Crossfires. Now, all of our guys from middle went this way. The enemy team appears to also be going that way. So this flank is not long for any sort of battle impact. So we need to get over to the other side very quickly. I'm turning away simply because the enemy sub was there. I don't want to be bow on to an enemy sub. Kitakazi, for some reason, looks like he is slowing down in front of a Des Moines. So we'll aim for that. Hey, we get 2. Nice. So, okay start, battle impact wise. And now, yeah, we see we got to move over to the other side right away. And that's what this engine boost and speed is very nice for. Faster than all the other super battleships. So we can flex over to the other side. Although, we also could just show that we Citadel Valparaiso's at these ranges. I mean, yeah, Valparaiso, pretty vulnerable Citadel, but still, that is quite good. I'm assuming these torps range, by the way. This is pure ego. Thinking I understand ranges in this game. So we may be eating a torp or two. Ah, ego boosted. Love to see it. I wasn't getting worried, okay? No, I was not getting worried. No need to greed the back turrets just yet. So we're just spamming front guns. It's Hanover at range. Our team is slowly going down on the other side. A lot of the brawling battleships are over there. We want to get there and help. So probably not going after Hanover first, since he is so angled. I want to see if this Ruprecht will go broadside. This is why sometimes reload is not always the best option, or DPM is not the best metric to go by for battleships. Sometimes it is just wait for that perfect opportunity. Like so. We'll see if we actually capitalize on it or not. Relatively flat dispersion. Vertical is very good. Horizontal, a little wider. That's, again, why we want broadside targets. Really just got to find those. No Citadel. That's okay. And with our team pushing down this way and our guys over here, we're kind of creating this third threat up here, you know? Multiple angles we want to force them to deal with. Looks like Ruprecht is going to go down. I think this Bremen may be focused on someone else. So we might get a surprise salvo in. Hanover is going to go down. And we're seeing the other thing that happens with Super Ships Matchmaker. Blowouts, yeah. Games that aren't particularly close. He turned away, smart. That is another issue. So I will say that not all of the reason that it took a while to get some pretty incredible games out of Patrie was Patrie's fault. Certainly not. A lot of it is down to the way the matchmaker is a lot of the time these days, and how we just get very one-sided matches. This one went on for a little while, It's certainly not the most insane blowout I've ever seen, but, you know, the result seems pretty decided. Yeah, just a blowout. That's all right. As for the playstyle, you saw I just am trying to apply the flanking pressure early if I spawn on the flank. If I spawn middle, I'll change it to where I'm trying to take advantage of those trying to flank aggressively like I would on a flank. Right? I'm trying to take advantage of that by finding the broadsides from the middle of the map. That is generally what I am going for. As for your build with Patrie, secondary build is not the way to go, okay? Yeah, it was my best game while recording, but that is more of a coincidence rather than this ship actually being a good secondary ship. You just need IFHE because of these smaller caliber secondaries here. And while the extra range that French ships do get is nice, there's no improved accuracy on these secondaries. So it's standard dispersion. You just get so many with such a fast reload that the DPM looks all right. I do think the ship is primarily a main gun focused ship, and the main guns are quite solid. They aren't going to be quite as consistent as some other battleships, in my opinion, my experience. You may find you have a different experience, but it's still a very, very strong ship, don't get me wrong. Main battery mod 3 and aiming systems mod 1. This is how you should build it. If you want to go some secondaries, just do a little on your commander. Other than that, you really should just keep with the main guns. 14-kilometer detect here is great for a ship of this size and strength. As for steering gears and not prop mod, very strange, right? I typically find with an engine boost, especially a 15% engine boost, this is more than enough for me in the situations where I need prop mod. And then the extra maneuverability I gain because I now can run engine boost plus a steering gears for 15.7 second rudder feels pretty good. We want to buff the engine boost duration, of course, and then I take damage control mod 1 these days as we don't have permanently destroyed modules anymore, which is very, very nice. Here is your armor layout. If you overmatch 32, if you pen 32 with your HE, yeah, you can just hit basically anywhere and just be guaranteed massive, massive damage. Very thick armor belt here. Citadel is waterline underneath that with some turtleback as well. Very, very difficult to Citadel this ship. It's technically possible given the angle of turtleback, but very, very difficult. Notably, this 32 millimeters of armor also counts. So you have an armor check here, you have an armor check here, you have an armor check here, and then you also have an armor check here. That's the French black hole armor, okay? So if you bait enemy ships into shooting your vulnerable, I'm using air quotes here, vulnerable broadside, sometimes they would actually get more damage if they aimed up here than they did down here, but they won't necessarily do that because they think, this guy's made a mistake, when in actuality it isn't with these French ships sometimes. It's a little nebulous on whether or not it is always going to help you. Not always, but a lot of the time. I find that does work out quite well. Patrie, a very, very strong super battleship. I have my preferences towards the other ones, but this is a very powerful ship. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.